Doctor Who. The top 30 Doctor Who stories ever. 25 to 21. 25. The Three Doctors. The Three Doctors was the 10th anniversary story that aimed to reunite the first two Doctors, William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, with the current incumbent of the role, Jon Pertwee. Sadly, the reunion did not quite go the way it was intended, as William Hartnell was so ill, and indeed died not long after, that his involvement was reduced to cameo appearances on the TARDIS scanner. However, the good news is that the Three Doctors was not too adversely affected by this unfortunate development. The story is an absolute hoot, and is effectively the first time the Pertwee era did a comedy story, and very well it did it too. There are some corners of fandom that don't like the Three Doctors, or multi-Doctor stories in general, but I'm stuffed if I know why. This story is great fun and immensely charming from start to finish. It is absolutely delightful to see Patrick Troughton again, and the way his upstaging of Jon Pertwee is a reflection of the way the second Doctor upstages the third, who is apparently no more amused by it than Pertwee was at the time, is nothing short of hilarious. Katie Manning is as cute and charming as ever, and while the characterization of the Brigadier is a bit silly, it works well for comedic purposes. Presumably the Brig went for a much-needed holiday, possibly in Chroma, after this story, as it clearly all becomes just a bit too much for him here. The Three Doctors is wonderful, nostalgic feel-good fun, and I love it to pieces. 24. The Caves of Androzani. This is such a cliché story to include in a list such as this that I almost feel like choosing something else just to avoid repeating everything that everyone has been saying about this tale for years now. Sadly, I can't avoid it. The Caves of Androzani may not be the best Doctor Who story ever, but it is certainly and undeniably one of the very best, with a fantastic script from Robert Holmes, brilliant edgy direction from Graham Harper, and a phenomenal set of performances from the guest cast and regulars alike. Peter Davison goes out with a bang. 23. Terror of the Zygons. Personally, I find Season 13 to be rather overrated, a point I'm sure will get me trouble, tee-hee, when I do the Season 13 overview eventually. However, the first story of the season, Terror of the Zygons, is one where I can't argue with the general consensus. Zygons is a fantastic story, one of my all-time favorites, with a great script from Robert Banks Stewart, who will prove to be no fluke with the same season's finale, cracking direction from the always excellent Douglas Camfield, great acting from everyone, and an absolutely magnificent music score from Jeffrey Bergon. Bergon was no fluke either, delivering an equally magnificent score for that same finale, and does rather make one wonder why he wasn't used again, or indeed taken on permanently instead of the often somewhat one-note Dudley Simpson. Bergon's music adds enormously to the atmosphere of this story and the later tale, and stands up extremely well to this day. 22. Revelation of the Daleks. This is another story that I have already touched upon in my Season 22 review, and am almost unwilling to include it, loath as I am to repeat myself, but nonetheless it deserves to be here. The climax to the excellent and underrated Season 22 is a gem of a black comedy thriller, as dark as the series ever got, with a gallery of bizarre characters, superb writing, and Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant reaching something of a peak as the Doctor and Peary. So much so that you almost weep at how good the original Season 23 might have been before Grade and Company stuck their poisonous oars in. 21. The Robots of Death. It's another cliché. Look, I promise 20 to 15 will be a bit more interesting and controversial, and what the fuck is this guy on drugs, alright? But it's impossible not to put this in here. Only the second Tom Baker story I saw as a fan, the first being the less than inspiring Revenge of the Cybermen. This really showed me what a fantastic Dr. Tom was and how great his era largely is. A cracking murder mystery cum pseudo-slasher flick, this nearly gave Mary Whitehouse a coronary and remains a gripping thriller from start to finish, with the robots being fantastically well-designed monsters and great performances from all concerned. To be continued.